Welcome back guys, it's Kamui here, and today is another juicy video. Let's talk about Amado CYBORG. What's in Amado's box? I'm going to tell you who I think is the most likely, not necessarily the most interesting or the best possible choice for the story, just who I think it will actually be and how I came to that conclusion. So who do I think is gonna be? Another Delta body? Yeah, that's right, just Delta. I have my reasons for this, and I'm gonna go off with something that might feel unrelated at first, but just be patient because everything I say has a reason for it, and I want to explain exactly why I came to the conclusion that I did. So just sit back and enjoy the ride as it will all come together by the end of the video. So let's get the most obvious and least important thing out of the way first. When we just look at the pod that the cyborg is in, it just looks a whole lot like Delta's hair inside there. Now yes, it could be smoke, but in manga and anime, things are often drawn in a certain way and certain words are spoken for a reason. Similar to a point I brought up in my video about Amado creating Code's white karma seal, the Ishiki projection just looked really fake, and he never mentioned Koji at all, and I think that was intentional in order to hint at the fact that Amado created that whole scenario in the white karma seal, like I predicted in that video, so be sure to watch that video after this one here. In this case though, the intention was either to hint towards this being Delta again, or to completely fool us into thinking it will be Delta, but I definitely think that that was an intentional choice to make it look like Delta's hair. But this really isn't that important, to be honest, it's just a bonus piece of evidence more than anything. I now want to turn our attention to the conversation between Amado and Koji before leaving the Kara hideout, as well as some additional scenes in the anime. In both chapter 44 of the manga and episode 212 of the anime, Koji looks at Amado and says, "That's all you're taking? It doesn't look like much." To which Amado replies that he only needs one section of cell fragments in the digitalized data aggregate. The work itself can be done using their equipment. And then in the anime, Amado also says, "That aside, looks like we've got ourselves a secret weapon. It's all thanks to the data you gathered in the leaf." And then Koji says, "It's always good to have a lot of secret weapons." Now, a lot of people assumed that this was in reference to the cyborg Amado is working on because in the manga, we had just gotten the reveal that Amado was working on a powerful Konoha ally. However, I actually don't think that this is what they were talking about at all. People just assumed that that's what this was about, but I actually think they were talking about Kawaki's new karma seal before it was even brought up or revealed in the manga at all, and I have plenty of evidence for this. So first of all, it wouldn't be the first time the anime gave us teasers and hints towards events of the manga before the manga even ever revealed anything. A good example is Code. Before it was even revealed that Code had the white karma seal and was an Itachi worshipper, people were already theorizing that Code might be like a backup inferior vessel for Ishiki, who was jealous of Kawaki and wished he was the superior vessel that was chosen because of the extra scenes the anime added, where Code clearly wants to impress Jigen and was jealous of Kawaki, and Jigen seemed to want to keep Code close by him. And I think this is the same thing here. The anime was sneakily hinting towards Kawaki getting the new karma seal, and let me show you why. Before I even get into the other evidence, let's look at something obvious by the way. Amado told Katasuke about the cyborg. He says Katasuke approved of it. Not much of a secret weapon when you just freaking tell everyone about it. Obviously he didn't tell everyone, but he told someone, an important Leaf Village person, Katasuke. It's not much of a secret. But Kawaki's new karma seal on the other hand, he didn't tell anybody. Not even Kawaki. He asked Kawaki in front of only Sumire, but he didn't tell Kawaki or Sumire that he put it on Kawaki anyway. That was the secret. That's a secret weapon that only Koji and Amado may have known about. Beyond that obvious thing though, in the episode before this, episode 211 of the anime, Koji copies and steals the digitalized data on Leaf Shinobi after the 4th Great Ninja War, but does not actually steal the old data on Shinobi before the 4th War. Kakashi realized that Koji could have easily escaped after stealing the new digitalized data, but he didn't, and so he must have been after something else, and Koji compliments Kakashi on figuring that out. However, Koji later says that the data itself wasn't what he was actually after, and part of him was just getting sentimental because he was a Jiraiya clone. And to be honest, If Koji was actually after that data, he probably could have easily stolen it when he released that smoke since Kakashi threw it on the ground. But he didn't bother because that's not actually what he was after. So what was he after then? Why did he bother waiting around and luring people around the village? Well, let's look at what happened in that episode. Who was it that was chasing him around and he seemed to be purposefully leading places? Kakashi and Shikadai's team. And how did the episode end? Shikadai's team was fooled into heading towards the outskirts of the village on the Thunder Train, and Kakashi was separated from them as he went into that building where that scroll was hidden. And Koji then went back to the Kara hideout to begin his betrayal with Amado. Now what does Kashi and Koji say to Amado right before he reverse summons him to the Leaf Village? He says when Amado arrives to follow the wall to the right and happy hunting. Now when Amado arrives, what does he do? He goes straight to hunting down Shikadai's team and begins his plan to get a hold of Shikamaru by threatening Shikadai's life. We also know that Amado wanted to get a hold of Shikamaru and force Shikamaru into a position where he would have to listen to him, and what better way to do that than to threaten the life of his son like he did? So we have good reason to believe that this was Amado's plan all along. Now how did Amado know where to look to find Shikadai and his team? By following Kashi and Koji's directions to follow the wall to the right, as Kashi and Koji knew where they were because he just got done luring them away to a location near where Amado would be summoned, and that's what Koji was actually after. He was trying to get Shikadai and his team in a particular location for Amado, and that's also why he said happy hunting, as in good luck hunting them down. What's more, in that episode where Koji was luring everyone around the village, we continuously heard the word digitalized or digitized data over and over again, always in reference to the data that Kashi and Koji stole. In fact, that word has only ever been used in reference to that in the entire series, at least that I can think of. So the digitalized data that Amado needed for the work he spoke of is the data that Kashi and Koji stole, which has allowed him to create his secret weapon. We already know that Amado doesn't need this digitized data to make clones, nor does he need data on previous shinobi from before the 4th Great Ninja War to bring back clones of former shinobi, because he's already done it with Kashi and Koji before any of this data was ever stolen. So if Amado was gonna bring back Itachi as a clone or someone like that, he wouldn't even need data on Itachi to do this. He's already shown the capability to clone people without it. He likely just needs their cells or a piece of their flesh or their hair or something like that. Getting back to the Karma Seal though, when Amado reconstructed Kawaki's arm in chapter 56, and Katasuke is amazed that Kawaki didn't show any signs of rejection, Amado says that it's a genuine article engineered from Kawaki's own cells and is just one of the spare parts he made before coming here. Amado only brought that box on his back, which when Kashi and Koji asked if that was all he was taking, Amado told him that he only needs one section of cell fragments and the digitalized data aggregate. Well, we know that the digitalized data aggregate is what Kashi and Koji stole for him, and the cell fragments is obviously Kawaki's cells that he used to rebuild his arm, so he doesn't have anything else with him in relation to the cyborg he's building. It was for Kawaki's new arm in the Karma Seal. Now, what on earth is in the digitized data aggregate that he needed and how it relates to Kawaki's Karma Seal? I have absolutely no idea, but I'm confident that that's what this was about. So then that brings us back to the cyborg. If the equipment Amado brought and the data Kashi and Koji stole was for Kawaki's Karma Seal and not for the cyborg, then what does Amado have to work on a new cyborg with? Just Konoha's equipment. Furthermore, Katasuke supposedly approved of this, and Sumire had no idea about this, even though she's Amado's assistant, and that's why she asked him about it. And we've seen no indication that Amado has talked about this to Naruto, or Sasuke, or Shikamaru, or anyone other than Katasuke. So do you really think Katasuke would just willy-nilly approve of an Itachi clone, or someone close to Sasuke or Naruto, or whoever, without even asking anybody about it? Hell no! And we most likely would have, and should have at least, seen a conversation with Amado vaguely talking about it, and having Naruto say, for example, "I can't allow you to do that, Amado. Sasuke wouldn't like it." But then Amado does it anyway, or something like that. But we got nothing at all. Nothing. I then have to come back to the fact that Amado just shut down Delta rather than having Kashi and Koji kill her. And I have to ask, why is that? Even just from a writing standpoint, that's such an odd anticlimactic way of killing off an important character, an inner member of Kara, the main enemy organization of the series, so I'm pretty inclined to say that Delta is going to come back to the story at some point, just like how we know Kashi and Koji will come back to the story because neither character had any closure whatsoever. Even Boro had more closure. He actually got his ass destroyed by Borushiki. That's some closure at least. In addition, as I mentioned in my Who is Amado's Daughter video, which you should check out after this video here, it seems like Amado cares about Delta. And my prediction is that it's because she is somehow related to his daughter, which just leads to another reason for him to bring her back, but as an ally this time rather than as an enemy. And this is why Katasuke signed off on it. It's a character they already know of, it's not close to Naruto or Sasuke emotionally, and they know is a powerful character, and Katasuke just trusts Amado that she'll be on the good guy's side. At the end of the day, all that stuff about the data with Kashi and Koji wasn't in regards to the cyborg, as I explained earlier, so I then would have to say that the idea that Amado is bringing back a clone of a former shinobi like Itachi or whoever isn't really something you can predict with any evidence. It's just a random ass pull that came out of nowhere, and you're just guessing at it. And so I then have to look at who makes sense and who has some evidence to support it. And the only person I can think of who fits that role is Delta, a character Amado seems to care about, and a character who just got shut down with no closure at all, and a character with hair similar to the silhouette we see in the actual pod. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you guys think about this prediction in the comment section below. Who do you think is in the box, and why, and what do you think of my analysis here? For those of you who made it this far, thank you so much for the support, but I do have to remind you that
you're already under my genjutsu.
So subscribe, leave a comment, like the video, and hit that bell icon for notifications. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.